Hey everybody, welcome to a very modified chair yoga class. I'm 12 days out of my hip surgery, and I'm starting to feel a little bit like my mornings are a little bit more normal. I'm getting up usually really early. By early morning, I'm done. I'm done laying in that wedge thing. If you saw my video a couple days ago, like done. So my morning routine is where I just come in here. This is my office. It's a little bit cluttered, but I have just the things that I need close by. So I'm not having to go up and down the stairs to get things that I need. And so I come in here and I do a little bit of reading. I do my meditation, my journaling, my gratitudes. And I'm doing a beautiful mindfulness journal this year. And it gives a daily prompt. Each week is sort of themed out. This week was just different types of guided meditations, and then kind of you journal about what pops up for you. And this last one was about pain and just noticing the aches and pains that we have in our body on a daily basis. Or maybe if you're fortunate enough, you don't have pain every day, but when you do, just being aware of that and then noticing, like, what do you do with that pain? I've had pain for so long that I don't know what it's like to not have pain. And I was recently working with my physical therapist, getting my hip kind of going, kind of just getting my body back into mobility and movement. And we were talking about pain levels. And I literally can't remember a time that my pain is below a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. So it's just something I've learned to live with. And that brought up something in me as I was journaling about how we adapt so much to what's going on in our lives. So when I first began teaching in Denver, which is about an hour to an hour and a half away, depending on my location, I thought, this is so hard. This is such a big drive. And I really made a bigger deal about it than it really is. Or have I just adapted to it? I think both. I think we take on something that seems daunting and big and overwhelming and powerful. And we think, oh, it's so much. But then we kind of get into our groove and it turns out to be okay. And now I'm so used to driving sometimes 350 miles a day for work. I don't even think about it. Like, I just have adapted to that's what I do. And so I was thinking about pain and how we adapt to what we're given in life. And we just become accustomed to it. So it's interesting now to not be working, to um, to be going into week 2 without working, like out in the world. I've been doing a lot of other kind of work stuff I don't have time for, because I feel like one of the ways I cope with pain is I redirect my thoughts about pain to being productive and busy. So I'm doing a lot of projects, a lot of really cool stuff is coming that I never have time for, that I love working on. So that has been good. But just adapting to this process, like, I hardly ever come in my office on the regular basis. And now I am here all day. I'm here much of the day. And so I've adapted to that. I've made it good. I have oils going. I have books over there. I have tea back there. I have things. I have sort of embodied this space as being just where I'm going to be for a while. And so I think the adapting that we do given any situation is we just roll with it. And the more we can learn to be adaptable, the easier it is to roll into things more quickly. The resistance that we have and the angst that we have when life shows up for us, or we have to do something different, like drive to Denver for work, or um, take on something that's uncomfortable and different. If we resist that, then it's so much harder than if we just say, this is what it is. And so I think being adaptable and seeing how many times throughout our life, whether it's a big move that we move across the country, or we get a different job, or a relationship ends and we think, this is it, this is the end of my life, this is going to be so hard. And yet we find our groove. And so this healing process, I'm just trying to find my groove. So I get up, I do my morning routine. And then I've been practicing just some very simple chair yoga. I'm sitting on a stool. One of the precautions that I mentioned in my first video about my hip surgery is you cannot bend past a 90 degree. So I'm in a stool right now. I'm slightly hinged back. Okay. So I don't want to be like a perfect 90-degree L shape. Can't do that, especially going past that. So there's no leaning forward for me. So I'm kind of leaned back a little bit. And what that does is it puts a little bit of pressure on my back, but I'm learning to kind of adapt to that. How do I sit comfortably without putting pressure on my low back that I have a tendency to have some trouble with? And how do I make comfort in this kind of different shape? So my yoga practice has been sitting on my stool, lightly hinged back. I don't have anything behind me to lean on, which is giving me a little bit of a core stuff. Starting tomorrow, I'm bringing up the weights. I'm going to start doing my upper body routine again, which will feel really good to kind of get some of those endorphins going again. But my yoga practice has been very simple. And so I want to share that with you. There will be nothing on the bottom half, just because I'm just not there yet. Maybe next week there'll be some things. I have been doing some standing work, which this whole practice can be done standing since we're just really focusing on the waist up. If you prefer to stand versus sit, that's always an option. So the first thing I do when I come into my practice post hip surgery is I really take an inventory of what I'm feeling, whether it's an emotional thing, allowing myself the space to be frustrated, to be impatient, to be in pain, to wonder what the future holds. I just allow whatever to show up and to bubble up to be, because that's part of adapting. That's recognizing this is different. I'm not going to resist it. I'm just going to be with it. So I do a quick body scan, just a quick kind of what am I feeling? What's showing up? Where are the tightness in my physical form? Where's the tightness maybe in my heart? And then I close my eyes. And then one thing that has really helped me to feel more grounded through this process is I'm actually allowing myself to touch my body, to feel that connection solidly. And that's really grounding for all of us. So, what I would like you to do is just come to a comfortable standing position or a seated position. Again, I'm seated on a stool, but I have a slight hinge back from my waist just so that I don't put pressure on my hip. And then I have my right hand on my heart and my left hand on my low belly. This is very symbolic that the right hand touching the heart kind of tunes us into that powerfulness of just being alive, right? And then our left hand, kind of placed on the low belly, is that sense of personal power that comes from the third solar plexus, the third chakra, the solar plexus, where it's our relationship to ourself. So we have relationship to heart, to being alive, and relationship to self. And when the two of those kind of intermingle, there's some magic that happens. Many people refer to the heart chakra or the anahata chakra as the bridge, sort of the space between the upper three energy centers and the lower three. It's sort of this beautiful vessel of just space. Okay. And so January, I was really teaching the concept of yin and holding space, being with something for a long time. And as we come into February, I'm still kind of lingering with that idea of spaciousness, but I've moved my awareness up to my heart, kind of getting into more of that bridge, right? Between seasons, between transitions. For me personally, I'm on the bridge of healing, the bridge of what's next, what changes when I come back to work. Do I reevaluate my life? Maybe I linger on the bridge for a while and figure that out. And we're also just shy of spring. So we're kind of walking over that bridge from winter into the next season. So go ahead and place your right hand on your heart, left hand on your belly. If you like to, drift your eyes closed, or you can just look down at your lap, look down at your heart, look down at the floor, Find a speck on the floor to look at, and then take a big breath. And then empty your breath and just feel how the body responds to the breath. Meaning, do you feel your heart elevate? Do you feel your chest rise? Do you feel your belly expand? And then on the exhale, do you feel everything kind of come back to center? So you can imagine that we have this like almost blooming that happens inside of us where we elevate, expand, bloom. And then on the exhale, we kind of dwindle like that balloon that has no air in it. It kind of shrinks back down, but it's a beautiful shrinking. You can also visualize the blooming of a flower as it opens on the inhale. And then on the exhale, that flower closes just like it does at night for most flowers. So take 3 breaths just like that, kind of feeling whatever shows up for you, the balloon, the flower, the lingering on the bridge of what's next, the adaptiveness of our life, how we adapt to different things, different situations, different challenges, different celebrations. One more. And then empty the breath. Now, because I'm spending a tremendous amount of time sitting, it's really important for me to kind of open up this side body. So I'm going to weave my hands together like a basket, still have my pesky hand issue from my surgery in December. Push the basket away from you. So I'm just going to slightly turn. So my arms are straight, shoulder, wrist, and elbow is in one long line. So I'm able to really straighten those arms. So pushing the palms away from you, feel that stretch through the wrists, and then we're all going to spin to the right. So begin to turn to the right and then bend your right elbow, reaching it all the way back around. Should feel a great stretch through the belly. Inhale back to center, and then exhale, turn to the left. This one's a little bit trickier for me. Bend the left elbow and pull. Come back to center. Take your basket that's turned inside out and reach it up to the sky. Ooh, beautiful good morning stretch. Take a big breath here, get longer, and then hinge over to the right. So we're just sort of cradling the head between the biceps. Inhale back to center and over to the left. Now, if this is uncomfortable on the wrist, come back to center, lower your hands. I'll give you an alternative to the inside out basket. Hook your hands together, don't turn the basket, and then we're going to spin to the right. This might be easier on your shoulder, easier on your wrist. Come back to center and spin to the left. Fantastic. Come back to center, take your arms above your head, don't flip your basket, and then hinge to the right. So many people are curious as to why would I be teaching yoga hinge to the left when I should be healing? This is healing. Come back to center and lower it. This is how I heal. I heal by being productive. I heal by sharing. I heal by just being me. And part of being me is offering yoga, talking about my story, talking about my journey, relating to people, everyday people, that this is tough. Life can be hard. Rotate your wrist a little bit. Okay, we're going to take the right arm up to the sky, another side bend, but we're going to change it just a little bit. I'm going to take my right elbow up to the sky and reach my right hand behind my left shoulder. I'm going to reach my left hand up, grab that elbow, and then pull, really getting into the side body. Release the left hand, bring the right hand to the sky, and we'll take that to the other side. Left arm goes up, bend that left elbow, reach the left hand behind the right shoulder, sweep the right arm up and around, grab the left elbow, take a breath, and then pull. You should feel a big opening here through that armpit area. Feels so good. Reach the right arm down, the left arm to the sky. Now stack your fire logs, as I call it. And this just means my right hand is on my left elbow and my right elbow is on my left hand. I'm going to inhale to open to cactus and then exhale back to fire logs. Inhale to cactus. Now switch the fire logs. Opposite hand on the bottom. Inhale, open, exhale, close it. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Split your arms like a letter T. Okay, so you can see that there's a lot of stuff happening in the side body and in the shoulders and arms. Reach your right hand down, keep the arms straight like a letter T. The left arm goes up to the sky. Inhale back to a T. Exhale, drop the left. Come back to the T and then lower. Now I'm going to take my hands, I'm going to interlace them like a basket behind my low back. So if you're sitting in a chair, you're going to want to scoot to the very edge of the chair so that your cheeks are on the edge and you have plenty of space. So by doing this, I'm opening up the heart. We call that, say that a lot in yoga. I was just reading an article. But what does open the heart mean? It means stretching the skin on the chest. It means stretching the pectoral muscles, and then energetically, it means opening that heart. We have a tendency to sit like this a lot, which closes off some of those muscles that can really expand, but energetically, emotionally, it's like, hey, don't come near me. I'm closed. And so if we are deliberate about opening up that heart, we're saying to the world, here I am, this is who I am. Like it or leave it, but it's who I am. And it just feels liberating. Just squeeze those shoulder blades together, squish your heart out in front. Feels so good. All right, unhook your hands, come back around. Now I know this has no lower body, but that's okay. We're going to come into a very, very, very short and simple sequence using some of those movements that we just did, and then we're going to finish it up. So connect right hand, left hand, right to the heart, left to the belly. Take a breath. Empty the breath. Think about a situation in your life, 2 more breaths, where you have had to adapt, where you have started something new, been through something hard. And as you've moved through it, you've seen how just amazing you are in adapting. All right, here we go. Hands go down by your side. Circle the arms up, up, up. Grab your left wrist, pull to the right. We've been here a few times. Come back to center. Grab your right wrist, pull to the left. Come back to center. Keep your hands hooked together in some fashion. Spin to the right. Squeeze your belly. Come back to center. Squeeze to the left. Come back to center. Slide your hands onto those fire logs. Open up the chest. Fantastic. Exhale, stack your fire logs. We're going to do that again. Open up to the cactus. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Find your fire logs. Lower your hands. One more time. Inhale, circle up. Grab your left wrist. Exhale and pull. Inhale to the sky. Grab your right wrist. Exhale and pull. Inhale back to center. Exhale, lower your arms. Keep them attached. Take a long breath in. Spin to the right. Exhale. Inhale back to center. Exhale, spin left. Inhale back to center. Slide the arms onto themselves. Exhale. Inhale, cactus. Exhale, fire logs. One more time. Lower your arms. Circle up. Big breath. Exhale, over to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, left. Inhale to center. Exhale, lower your hands. Take a long breath. Spin to the right. Exhale. Spin to center. Inhale. Exhale, left. Notice the breath becomes the dance. Slide your hands to those fire logs. Inhale, cactus. Take a back bend. Exhale, fire logs. Lower your arms, hands onto your lap. Take a big breath. Empty the breath. Simple morning, simple opening, simple grounding. That's how it's working right now for me. It's not a full, let's get on the floor and do a yoga practice. But as you know, based on my teaching style, my firm belief that yoga is so much more than posture. It's enough movement, enough breathing, enough connection. I feel stuff stirring in me. I feel alive. I feel stretched. I feel ready for my day. So that's how I've been practicing yoga. 12 days post hip replacement. It's feeling pretty good. Yesterday, I did that sequence standing up. I'm still not able to stand fully on my left leg because of that fracture that happened during surgery. So I'm able to really load up my right side and feel pretty good about it. I do that sequence about 3 times through, just enough to kind of get the morning movement going. And then my day is complete. So I'll be updating you again probably Tuesday or Wednesday. I see the surgeon on Tuesday, midday, to kind of check the status of the fracture. I had a horrible reaction to the tape that goes over the incision. They don't do staples or stitches anymore. They glue your skin back together and then they sort of lay this meshy tape on top of the incision. My body was like not having that. So I had these horrible, horrible blisters that developed underneath that tape. So a few days ago, I had to pull that tape off. And if you've been following my Instagram, you know, I love baking sourdough bread. Some of you laughed when I messaged you this, but all I could envision when I pulled that tape off was sitting down and my incision opening up like sourdough loaf. Like I could just see it. It was startling. So it did not happen. My incision's fine. The blisters are going away. Super itchy, super uncomfortable. Had a reaction to the antibiotic. Got put on another antibiotic because of potential infection in my incision. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. So every day is a win. Every day I'm adapting to this sort of new routine, new schedule, and I'll be back. Like, I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm really just sitting with what needs to shift, what needs to move around. I feel like I have one of those games where the coconut shells are kind of in front of me and I'm moving parts and pieces around. I don't know what it's going to look like come April. I'm I'm just in the adaptive mode. Like I'm just allowing myself this time and whatever needs to be moved around in the coconut shells needs to be moved around. And it's been really freeing to not be so rigid and hunkered down to it has to be a certain way. And having gone through 3 hip surgeries before this one, this recovery is much different in that I'm just allowing. I'm just allowing. I'm not hurrying the process. I'm not really getting frustrated. Frustrated a little bit with the level of pain that I'm in, especially when I hear, those 80-year-olds just, but remember, 80-year-olds spend most of their time in recliners doing nothing. If I sat all day and did nothing, I probably wouldn't have as much pain, but I'm 53 and I'm moving. So I'll update you soon, later on next week, and we'll just keep practicing together. So thanks for tagging along in this crazy little journey of mine. And if you're not on my Instagram, go check it out. I do a lot of little updates on the stories there. It's just a fun way to just kind of see a snapshot of my day. You can find that link in the YouTube bio. It's just kind of fun. Kind of gives me something to do to busy my mind. And I'm writing a lot on my wellness blog, so be sure to check that out also. There's a few recipes. I've got some other things coming. Just some thoughts about how we adapt to life especially when life throws us something challenging. So be well, my friends. Happy Saturday, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for hanging out.